and you don't really like. You can't believe it yourself, because if you believed it yourself, you won't have to lie.
Yeah.
Here's the truth, brother. There is a biracial woman by the name of Maria Mandolini van Beethoven, and she married Beethoven, and Beethoven's father, and they had Beethoven after that, and then Beethoven married a white woman, and then had kids, and then those kids and those kids, and then guess what, brother? All the wealth of Beethoven didn't go to the African community; it went to the white. Now, bro, listen to what you were saying. You telling me about the benefits of interracial relationship. There's no benefit to it, brother, because if it's 50-50, then power should be shared equally. We don't see 50-50. We always see the Europeans, the Asian, the Middle Eastern. They have more the power, while we Africans have nothing. You see, the problem is, brother Shifa, is that you are in an interracial relationship, right? So that's working for you. And it must hurt a little bit for those in there, because it's like, well, I'm in there. What do I do with my wife or my husband? That's thing like that. That's you. But don't impose that on the African descendant community as though it's something that's going to benefit us, because it's hurt us. On the continent, brother, the continent was conquered by biracial Africans fighting against non-biracial Africans. The European man didn't conquer it. We conquered it for him. And you see over and over and over, brother, the biracial Africans always lean towards the side with power. This is why we don't believe in it. Not the way how they look, brother. It's to do with the power dynamic.
Sense, though. But Kale,
go on.
bro,
I was gonna say the same thing,
Revelations. What are we calling biracial, bro? What are you classifying as a biracial African?
A biracial African, brother, is a African that has mixed ancestry. Yeah.
So are you a biracial African then?
Yeah, like Kale, like my brother, like honestly, yeah. You just made a statement that biracial Africans lean towards the power, and this is why it's no good for us. Rare.
Right.
You don't lean towards the power, though.
Excuse me.
Neither did Malcolm X.
You don't lead towards the
Neither
power.
did Elijah Muhammad.
You're a biracial
Marcus Garvey.
Hold on. You're a biracial African that's a credit and an asset to Pan-Africanism. So I'm not understanding how you could, in the same breath, say biracial Africans don't lean towards the power. It just don't make no fucking sense, because you are what you're talking about. I asked you for your definition of biracial African, and you described yourself.
Here's what you're missing, brother. Right? Pan-Africanite in your mind, brother, is completely different. This is what you've all failed to realize. The reason why, brother, I don't lead towards certain side, because I've been Pan-Africanized by family members and stuff, right? You see? So unless you are Pan-Africanized, you will do that. Just like if you're a non-biracial.
I think you're better off saying that non-Pan-Africanized, mixed heritage Africans are excluded from what you're saying. I think you have to include that if you know that to be true, because it sounds like a blanket statement you're making about anybody with non-African ancestry, yeah, and you are somebody with non-African ancestry. So if you're not including yourself, then you're gonna have to drop that jewel. Hold on. If you're not including yourself, then you have to drop that jewel for everyone else that may feel that, hold on, that don't include me. I've got non-African ancestry, but I'm down to the fucking wheels fall off like you are. So
like I've got cousins like
that. Stop trying to cater to us pure bloods. Stop trying to cater to us pure bloods and give a more inclusive message because you're isolating people with this kind of weird talk.
No. Here's the thing, brother. Here's the thing. I gave a list
disingenuous as well. Disingenuous.
Non-African. Hold on, brother. A list of non-Africans, brother, who have African ancestry and also worked against African people. Mahatma Gandhi, Ethiopian ancestry. He also worked for the liberation of his people, nothing to do with African people. Ed J. Hoover, African ancestry via his mother, still went against Black liberation. Thomas Jefferson, one of the Black Americans, president, he had Black ancestry, went against Black people. Abraham Lincoln, Calvin Coolidge, all of them did Obama. Just because you have that ancestry, brother, it has nothing to do with the mind. Unless your mind, brother, is fixated on a code of conduct to liberate your people based upon that, right? Then you cannot liberate. Just because I have certain things.
Tell that shit crazy, bro, man.
I would suggest to you,
Right.
more Africans went against Africa than biracial or people with African descendancy. I would say more pure-blooded Africans violated other Africans and Africa to this day, yeah, more than those with the mixed ancestry. So it seems to me when you mention the ancestry, and I'm not trying to fight that, I'm not trying to fight it, but it just sounds like when you're mentioning it, it seems like, well, if you got this mixed ancestry, that's the doorway for treason. That's the doorway for become a
no. You see, brother, we've gone up.
No, but you're making it. No, wait.
If you're gonna let me finish, brother, so we don't.
King,
go on, brother.
The words were so absolute that was the only conclusion you left us to draw. I had to ask you these questions to get it out because I was stunned and appalled by what you were saying. Because I know you're not a man of self-hate. So if you're not a man of self-hate, you're gonna accept and acknowledge all your ancestry, right? And what you are. So you know that you have non-African ancestry. To say Africans with non-African ancestry will basically work for the boy them, will basically work against us.
They're basically the enemy.
That is basically the enemy.
No. Hold on. Remember, brother, the topic was interracial relationships.